What's up everyone? Welcome to Tech Mindset. On this video, I'm going to show you how to download and install Ubuntu on your own computer. So from downloading the Ubuntu ISO to creating a bootable USB and then installing that onto your computer. So one difference you might have compared to me is that I'm going to be installing Ubuntu on a VM. I'm going to be able to boot right to my ISO. So I'm going to still show you how to make a bootable flash drive, but the difference being that you might need to go look up how to boot to your flash drive on your own computer. Sometimes that's pressing F12 while the computer boots. Sometimes it'll just boot from the flash drive automatically. So you're going to want to look that up based on your computer, what your hotkey is while your computer starts up on how to boot to a USB. If you have questions about that, you can always reach out and book a consultation on techmindset.io. All right, so let's begin. First, we're going to want to get and download the Ubuntu ISO file, the image file, and then we're going to want to pick up a program called Rufus to be able to create the USB. So first, we're going to go to a Google search here where I already typed in Ubuntu, and then under Ubuntu there's a download link here. So when I click on that, that takes me to this page. I'm just going to close that other tab. So that takes me to this page, and then I'm going to click on Ubuntu desktop. And then we're going to come down to where it says Ubuntu 22.04 LTS. We're going to click download, and it takes us to this page. And I'm using Edge in this case, but you'll see up here that the file is already downloading. Now you're going to see this parentheses 1 and end parentheses. That's because it's downloading to my downloads folder automatically, and I actually already have an Ubuntu ISO in there, so it's just making a second one. So in my case here, I'm just going to go ahead and click the X because I already have it. Cool. So next thing we want to do is I have a new tab here where I typed in Rufus into Google search. And you see this rufus.ie. Now you want to be careful. Sometimes links could change. So you're going to want to make sure that the link you're going to open is indeed the legitimate one. But I've downloaded this before and I'm going to just go to it. And on pages like this, you're going to want to look out for all the ads. You know, this is an ad, don't click it. Over here's an ad, don't click it. Over here's an ad, don't click it at the bottom. We're going to want to make sure we're going to the right spot. So in my case, I'm going to download the Rufus 3.19 portable. And portable just means it's not going to install it on my computer. I can just run the exe right from the folder without installing it, and I can do what I need to do. So I'm going to click that link. Oh, look, there's an ad. I'm just going to close that ad. And as you see right here, it loaded it over here. So next thing I'm going to want to do is I'm actually going to want to go into my downloads folder, and then I'm going to want to make sure I scan these files with my antivirus to make sure that there's nothing going on before I start my install process. Here I have in a folder the Rufus portable file as well as the Ubuntu ISO. And the .iso means it's an image file. Essentially that means I can make a bootable flash drive with this file. First, I'm going to click and drag and select both of these. I'm going to right click on it. I'm going to click show more options. And then I'm going to find my antivirus. So in my case, I have Avast installed. So I'm just going to go ahead and click scan selected items for viruses. So your process might be a little different if you're using the built-in Windows 11 antivirus or the Windows 10 antivirus, or if you're using a different antivirus, but I like to make sure to scan whatever I download before I run it. All right, so here we have my tutorial folder where I'm going to do everything out of. You might notice that the version here is older than the one that was on the site. For some reason, I don't know if there's an issue with the site or just my antivirus is being overly protective, but the 3.19 portable version is giving me problems, so I'm just reverting back to the 3.18 version that I had used before without a problem. So it should still be a similar process. So just for whatever reason, just my antivirus doesn't like me right now. So I'm going to go ahead and double click on the Rufus version. I'm going to click yes to allow this app to make changes. I'm going to go ahead and at this point, I'm just going to click no for looking for updates. Okay, so this is Rufus. And you can see right at the top where it says device, it's already picking up the flash drive that I have plugged into my computer. And something important here, you're going to want to make sure it's at least an 8 gigabyte flash drive. In my case, this is 32 gigabytes. But the other thing is that this process is going to erase whatever's on that flash drive. So you're going to want to make sure that anything you have on that flash drive is already backed up, or you've already wiped it and it's already an erased drive, because it will erase it to do everything again. Next, where it says disk or ISO image, please select. We're going to go ahead and click select. So when you push the select button, you're going to want to navigate to where your ISO file is. So in my case, I'm just going right to the file, but you're going to want to make sure you know where that is. It already went to my downloads folder. So here with the ISO file, I'm just going to double click it. Boom. We're not going to change much of anything else here, and we're going to come down here and click start. So with this message, I'm just going to go ahead and click OK. Just leave it as default. And it's going to just warn you that it's going to delete everything on that flash drive to do this. And we're just going to go ahead and click OK. So now it's going to erase the flash drive, and it's going to create a bootable USB using the image file that we downloaded of Ubuntu. This process may take a while, so just sit tight and let it finish. All right, so Rufus is done. So we're going to go ahead and close it. And now I have my flash drive. So when it comes time to install or to run off the flash drive, I would plug that into my computer and I would make sure I would boot to that flash drive. Now in my case, for the rest of this example video, I'm going to be doing this from a VM, but this is the process so that you can install it. And you can do the same thing with Windows as well. Microsoft has a tool that you can download the ISO file for Windows. And using Rufus, you can do the same thing to make a bootable USB flash drive of Windows. Okay, as I explained in the beginning, I am going to be installing this on a VM, but you should see a screen like this when you boot your flash drive on your computer. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to press enter for try or install Ubuntu. So when this screen comes up, I'm just going to click on try Ubuntu. And something else that's helpful here. So if your Windows installation is just shot, for some reason everything is broken and you need to save your files, you can use this try Ubuntu option to have access to your hard drives, and then you can plug in another flash drive and then just back your files up. So it's a really helpful tool if your Windows installation is messed up. All right, and before I do anything else, just for this example, I'm going to click on the Show Applications button here. I'm going to find Settings. I'm going to scroll down to where it says Displays. And I'm going to change this resolution to 1920 by 1080 and then click Apply. And I'm going to click Keep Changes. I'm going to click on the X up here to close that. So this way you can see it a little bit better on the screen. I just increased the resolution. So from this screen, I can play around with Ubuntu without installing it. But in this example, I'm going to go ahead and install it. So I'm going to double click on this Install Ubuntu. All right, so in my case, I'm going to click English, then continue. English US, English US. All right. So I'm just going to leave things default unless I feel it should be changed, just to show you what it would look like to go through these settings. So I'm just going to go ahead and leave normal installation and then download updates while installing Ubuntu. Continue. Looks like I changed my resolution there. But that's okay. So it's going to ask about erasing the disk. So again, in this example, I have a virtual machine with a free drive ready to go. In your case, you might want to be careful if you're installing this along with your operating system. But if you just want to install Ubuntu and have that be your main operating system on your computer, you would just leave it as erase disk and install Ubuntu. Or you can change the partition sizes and all that. But again, I'm just doing this as if I'm installing Ubuntu and erasing everything else on my drive. So down here is an Install Now button. Might be kind of hard to see because the resolution changed on me, but just go ahead and click Install Now. I'm going to go ahead and click Continue, which is telling me what it's going to do here. Just going to leave the time zone as it is, but you can select your own time zone. All right. All right, I'm just going to put in a password. And click Continue. And it's going to do its thing and finish the installation. And because I selected download updates while installing, you can see that because my VM has an internet connection, it's currently doing that, but it might not be the case for you. Okay, when that's done, it gives me continue testing or restart now. So I'm going to click restart now. And again, because I'm on a VM, it might be a little different for you. In either case, it should ask you about removing the installation medium, which would mean unplugging the USB, and then click enter on your keyboard. Again, this might be a little different for you. It might already be restarting. I'm going to go ahead and just make my VM restart. Okay, so you should see a screen like this when your computer restarts. I'm going to go ahead and click on Tech Mindset, enter in my password, and then enter. There we go. So first thing I'm going to do is come back into the settings, scroll down to displays, and then change my resolution to 1920 by 1080, just so you can see it a little bit easier. All right. So I'm not going to do anything here. I'm just going to go ahead and skip that. And I'm just going to say no, don't send system info. All right. Same thing. I like to turn privacy stuff off, not have that stuff showing location at all the time, but you change it to whatever settings you want to do. All right. I'm going to go ahead and close this. And here we go. We have an installation of Ubuntu on this computer. Now, in your case, you might want to... Okay, so up here would be your settings for Wi-Fi and all that. And there you have it. That's an installation of Ubuntu on your computer. Now, you can do your own updates. You could install whatever apps you want to use, but I'll leave that to you. This is just the installation video. If you want to sign up for a consultation, go to techmindset.io and click on the consultation button. Sign up to the email list and get my free ebook, Top 3 Reasons Your Computer's Running Slow. All right, that's it. I'll catch you in the next video.